expressed. Unfortunately, I won't be there this weekend. I was just fired. So, I'm going to have a 11:30 team meeting. And I'm going to tell the players, I don't want you to say anything to the players. Keep it to yourself. Okay. I was told that there won't be any changes but me. We'll finish up the season as a staff. No one else is going. And help each other and support each other. Okay? I'm going to do my best to hold it together and thank the team. So, I appreciate everything you guys have done for this football team and for me and the loyalty that you've shown. But it's a freaking shock.
Wherever there's trouble, G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra and Destro, fighting to save the day. He never gives up, he's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe.
America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
Yo, Joe! He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra and Destro, fighting to save the day. He never gives up, he's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe. Wherever there's trouble, G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra, the enemy, fighting to save the day. He never gives up, he's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe, hero. G.I. Joe. Yo, Joe! Fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra the enemy, fighting to save the day. He never gives up, he's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe!
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe. Yo, Joe! He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra the enemy, fighting to save the day. He never gives up, he's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe.
Crashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. Cobra! Cobra! Armies of the night, evil taking flight. Cobra! Cobra! Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Panic spreading far and wide. Who can turn the tide? G.I. Joe, American hero. Yo, G.I. Joe, there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there, fighting for freedom wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air. G.I. Joe is there. Can the world oppose the deadliest of foes? Cobra! Cobra! Joes will risk it all to end the evil call of Cobra! Cobra! They never give up, they never say die, walking tall with banners high. They sound the battle cry. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there, fighting for freedom wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
G.I. Joe, Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
They'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe. International heroes. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe against the ruthless enemy, fighting to save the day. They never give up. They're always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe. International heroes. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for an international highly trained special mission force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
They never give up, they'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe. International heroes. G.I. Joe.
Got to get tough. Yo, Joe. Got to get tough. Yo, Joe. You know you got to stand tall when it comes down to the wire. You got to play rough when you cross that line of fire. You got to have guts to stand for your rights. You got to keep a grip enough to hold on tight. You got to do the fighting with all of your might. You got to keep the target straight ahead on your sights. Got to get tough. Yo, Joe. Got to get tough. Yo, Joe.
G.I. Joe, America's top secret mobile strike force team.
Yo, Joe.
The mission, to defend freedom.
Yo, Joe.
The threat, Cobra, an evil organization bent on world conquest.
Yo, Joe.
The battle cry,
Yo, Joe. Got to get tough. Yo, Joe. Got to get tough. Yo, Joe.
Surrounded on all sides. The odds of survival are 1,000,000 to 1.
G.I. Joe Street.
And with the collapse of the former superpower,
Several powerful factions now vie for control.
the threat is real. An evil organization calling itself SCAR.
Only as SCAR.
Their goal, nothing short of total world domination. Led by this man, known only as Iron Claw.
We will be victorious. Not on my watch. G.I. Joe Street.
Situation critical.
Roll call.
ballistic, harpoon,
Mayday!
blast dragon,
Sergeant Savage.
quick strike, metalhead,
Right. Lieutenant Stone.
The odds are 1,000,000 to 1.
And that's the way we like it. G.I. Joe Street.
G.I. Joe Sigma 6, code name for a highly trained special mission force. Its objective, stop Cobra, stop Cobra.
Sigma 6, be a hero. G.I. Joe will turn the tide. Be a hero. Sigma 6 is on your side. Be a hero. Be the best of the best.
Whenever there's a mission, G.I. Joe is there.
Take command, heavy duty on the scene. Snake eyes, hand to hand, long range, swing and me. Scarlet, ready to fight. Turbo red ignite.
Wherever Cobra strikes, wherever they attack, G.I. Joe will fight. There's no turning back.
Yo, Joe, be a hero. G.I. Joe will turn the tide. Sigma 6 is on your side, yeah. Be the best of the best.
Whenever there's a mission, G.I. Joe is there.
Sigma 6.
Prep for action. Communication is reacquired.
All games end today.
Accused of a crime they didn't commit, a ragtag band of fugitives fights a covert battle to clear their names and expose the insidious enemy that is Cobra. Some call them outlaws. Some call them heroes. But these determined men and women think of themselves only as ordinary Joes. And this is their story.
Say the name G.I. Joe to a Gen Xer, and the casual fan will probably yell, "Yo, Joe!" and then rattle off names like Duke, Flint, Lady J, and Shipwreck.
I'd rather save yours.
God, I hate Shipwreck. It makes sense. For most people, G.I. Joe is defined by the Sunbow cartoon. And that's a shame, because contrary to what many know, G.I. Joe didn't start with Duke, or Roadblock, or Destro. G.I. Joe's relaunch as a real American hero started in 1982 with a stellar comic book by Larry Hama that had a completely different continuity from the cartoon and lasted years beyond it. It all started with 13 soldiers whose design evoked the look and feel of the U.S. Army in the 1980s. Dark green, Army uniforms, fairly realistic weapons. It reminds you of films like Red Dawn or First Blood or even Tank.
G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe.
I'm continually surprised that a lot of people and fans of G.I. Joe from my generation have never heard of these characters. So allow me to introduce you to the first 13 members of G.I. Joe. Clayton Abernathy, Denver, Colorado, codename Hawk. West Point graduate, top of his class. The original leader of G.I. Joe wasn't Duke, it was Hawk. Now you might think that you know who Hawk is because you've seen the G.I. Joe movie. That's actually a promoted version of the original Hawk character. That's the general. Hawk in the original 13 was a lower ranking officer, but he was still the head of the original pantheon of G.I. Joes. The cool thing about Hawk was that he didn't come on a card. He came with the mobile missile system, which was this massive ground-to-air strike missile tripod with a fold-out computer. He stood beside it authoritatively and, I guess, dealt out death, or used it to get the other Joes to follow his orders. Alvin Kibbe, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, codename Breaker, communications officer and expert in covert electronics. Breaker is an interesting character in the original 13 Joes. You probably saw him all the time on the cartoon, but didn't realize that he was one of the original 13 members of the toy line. Breaker is generally depicted in the cartoon with a gray uniform, and he's always at the communication station with his headset on. But Breaker was cool because, like the rest of the 13 Joes, he had a real function that the military would have in an infantry squad. He was the radio guy. So Breaker is actually a useful addition to G.I. Joe for those realistic missions. Lonzo Wilkinson, Detroit, Michigan. Codename, Stalker. Former gang leader, fluent in 5 languages. By today's standards, Stalker would be classified as the token black guy in G.I. Joe. But at the time the original 13 members came out, Stalker had a useful function as the second-in-command to Hawk. Stalker was the point man on their missions, while Hawk stayed back and gave out the orders. Stalker actually served a big role in the original animated miniseries as well, The Mass Device. He was one of the most active members of the group at that point. So Stalker got lucky because he was a strong character in the beginning of G.I. Joe's comic book series, and he was a strong character in the beginning of G.I. Joe's animated series, which was rare. Robert Graves, Columbus, Ohio. Codename, Grunt. Straight up soldier, cool under fire. I've known more than a few collectors and G.I. Joe fans who think that Grunt is just a troop builder figure, like a stormtrooper or a Cobra enemy. But in reality, in the comic book, Grunt was a specific character with a real personality. Larry Hama actually wrote into the comic book series later that Grunt was discharged from G.I. Joe honorably and then went off to finish college. He was a fleshed-out, three-dimensional human being, but for most people, Grunt is just a generic army soldier. He's got the M16 and the Musette bag. He looks like a background character in a Vietnam movie. So I guess depending on what your priorities are, you can see Grunt as either a unique individual or you can just see him as background fodder for your toy collection. Ralph Pulaski, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Codename, Steeler. Comes from a blue-collar family. Driver of the Mobat. Unlike the Star Wars toy line from Kenner, G.I. Joe actually included pilots and drivers with their vehicles, which was really cool. Steeler is one of the most famous original drivers. If you were lucky enough to get Steeler, then that means you got the Mobat tank with him, and you were one lucky kid. The Mobat's sitting behind me right now, and it's easily the coolest tank Hasbro ever made for G.I. Joe. The thing was motorized, it had rubber treads, it could drive over anything. Books, blankets, your pets. James Barney, Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Codename, Grand Slam. Sci-fi and comic book junkie. Operator, Jump Jetpack. Grand Slam is an interesting member of the G.I. Joe team because he's one of the only characters that was visibly changed from the 1982 straight-arm versions into the 1983 swivel-arm versions. Originally, Grand Slam had these red protective pads all over his uniform, and he came with a large artillery cannon. But in 1983, they changed it so that he had these silver pads and a visored helmet, and he came with the Jump Jetpack, which is arguably a lot cooler. Mark Brenston, Chicago, Illinois. Codename, Short Fuse. Comes from a military family. Certified math genius. I wish I had something cool to say about Short Fuse. He's not a bad character. As a matter of fact, what makes him great is that he fills another traditional role in an infantry squad. He's the mortar and artillery soldier. Again, very realistic roles for these characters up front, not caricatures at all. Short Fuse had a strong role in the beginning of the comic book series, but like so many of the original 13, he was slowly pushed off to the sidelines as Hasbro introduced new figures. Lance Steinberg, Asbury Park, New Jersey. Codename, Clutch. Street racer. Greases his hair with motor oil. Chews on the same toothpick for months. Clutch is one of my favorite G.I. Joes because he was my first G.I. Joe figure. And because he was a driver, he came with the Vamp Jeep, which had the big machine gun on the back. Clutch didn't have as prominent a role in the cartoon after it got going, but in the comic book, he was always a strong character and tended to evolve. Larry Hama paid a lot of attention to him. His second incarnation, he became the driver of the Vamp Mark II, which was the desert version of the Jeep, which was really cool because it had doors and a roof, and it had a missile launcher on the back. Rafael Melendez, New York City, New York. Codename, Zap. Bazooka soldier, demolitions expert. Zap is the G.I. Joe bazooka soldier, not to be confused with Zap Brannigan from Futurama or Zap Rousdower from The Final Sacrifice. Zap is cool because not only did he come with this massive bazooka weapon, Zap is also interesting in hindsight because Zap is Hispanic. And I like the fact that he's not a caricature. Like everybody else in the original 13, he wears the same standard uniform they do, and they're all equal. I think that's really cool. I think it speaks to something that was really progressive that was going on with G.I. Joe at that time that quickly just got dumbed down, and then we ended up with characters that were visibly different from one another racially. And I'm not trying to put political correctness into this video at all. I'm just saying that as far as subtlety and a deft hand for design goes, and Larry Hama's writing, Zap is a much more interesting and enriching character to G.I. Joe than the ones that came after him. Anthony Gambello, Lodi, California. Codename Flash. Electronics expert. Laser rifle operator. Flash is my absolute favorite G.I. Joe of all time. Not just of the original 13 members, but of all the G.I. Joes. He wasn't used very much, which is a shame because he's really cool, but I will say he's in the intro of the original cartoon miniseries of each episode, which I think is awesome. And in the comic book, he was used pretty strongly up front, not as strongly as a lot of the other characters, and then he slowly sort of petered out like the rest of them did. I think the reason I liked Flash so much was not just because he was one of my first G.I. Joes, and I know that has a lot to do with it, but because he just looked so unique. He had the red protective pads like Grand Slam and the visored helmet, but he also had this cool backpack with a laser rifle attached to it via cable. Craig McConnell, Malibu, California. Codename, Rock and Roll. Surfer, weightlifter, guitarist, machine gunner. I remember when I was a little kid and G.I. Joe had first come out that Rock and Roll was one of the most popular action figures for kids to get because he was the machine gunner. He had the 2 bullet bandoliers crosswise over his chest, and he came with a massive bipod machine gun, and he was always seen riding around on the Ram motorcycle. He had the blonde beard, and he was the surfer guy. Rock and Roll was one of the most memorable of the original 13 Joes for kids who remember them on the toy aisles. Shayna O'Hara, Atlanta, Georgia. Codename, Scarlet. Martial arts prodigy, earned her first black belt at 15. Scarlet is probably one of those characters you think you know because you've seen the cartoon. She's the redhead with the ponytail and the crossbow. But if you don't know the original 13 Joes and you don't know Larry Hama's comic book, you probably don't know much about Scarlet at all. Now, in the cartoon, Scarlet was depicted as having a relationship with Duke, sort of a sophomoric romance type of relationship. But in the comic book, it was never that way. Scarlet's core relationship was with Snake Eyes, and that was the central dramatic direction of the comic book throughout its whole run. Scarlet always maintained her identity apart from Snake Eyes, despite the fact that she was his girlfriend. Scarlet is a strong, fearless character. She has just immovable conviction, and the courage that she exhibits in the comic book is, to say the least, incredible. A lot of people remember Snake Eyes as having a wolf companion named Timber, but that's not actually Snake Eyes' first incarnation. His first role was as a demolitions and espionage commando. He didn't have a sword, he wasn't a ninja, he did know 12 martial arts, but I think he was a lot cooler because he was more unique. The 1980s was the ninja craze, but Snake Eyes wasn't, by definition, a ninja at that point. He became a rival for Storm Shadow later in the comic book, and in the cartoon, he frankly got shoved off to the side because he didn't speak. In the comic book, on the other hand, because it's a still visual medium, Snake Eyes was perfect, and he quickly rose to the top. They actually devoted an entire issue to him, issue number 21, which is famous because there's no dialogue, and it's one of the best G.I. Joe issues ever written. I liked these guys a lot because they weren't the caricatures that came soon afterward, and they were some of my first Joes. I find these 13 characters to be more interesting than their successors.
It's here, the G.I. Joe collection. Infantry Trooper, codename Grunt. Bazooka Soldier, codename Zap. Motor Soldier, codename Short Fuse. Laser Rifle Trooper, codename Flash. Ranger, codename Stalker. Communications Officer, codename Breaker. Machine Gunner, codename Rock and Roll. Counterintelligence, codename Scarlet. Commando, codename Snake Eyes. each sold separately. G.I. Joe.
Wherever there's trouble, G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra and Destro, fighting to save the day. He never gives up, he's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe. Wherever there's trouble, G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra, the enemy, fighting to save the day. He never gives up, he's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe, hero. G.I. Joe. Up. He's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe!
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe! Fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra, the enemy, fighting to save the day. He never gives up, he's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe, hero. G.I. Joe.
Crashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. freedom wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air. G.I. Joe is there. Can the world oppose the deadliest of foes? Cobra. Joes will risk it all to end the evil call of Cobra. They never give up, they never say die. Walking tall with banners high, they sound the battle cry. G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe there. G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe is there. Fighting for freedom wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe there. G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe there. Fighting for freedom wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air. Retreat! Retreat! G.I. Joe! G.I. Joe is there! G.I. Joe!
Crashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. Cobra! Cobra! Armies of the night, evil taking flight. Cobra! Cobra! Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Panic spreading far and wide. Who can turn the tide?
G.I. Joe! American hero! G.I. Joe there! G.I. Joe! American hero! G.I. Joe there! Fighting for freedom wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air. G.I. Joe is there! Can the world oppose the deadliest of foes? Cobra! Cobra! Joes will risk it all to end the evil call of Cobra! They never give up, they never say die. Walking tall with banners high, they sound the battle cry. G.I. Joe there, G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe is there. Fighting for freedom wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe there, G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe there. Fighting for freedom wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air. Retreat! Retreat! there's trouble over land and sea and air, G.I. Joe is there. Can the world oppose the deadliest of foes? Cobra. Joe's will risk it all to end the evil call of Cobra. They never give up, they never say die. Walking tall with banners high, they sound the battle cry. G.I. Joe there, G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there, fighting for freedom wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
G.I. Joe there, G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe there, fighting for freedom wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air. Cobra, retreat, retreat. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there, G.I. Joe. Flashing through the sky comes a fearful cry, Cobra, Cobra. Armies of the night, evil taking flight, Cobra, Cobra. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, panic spreading far and wide. Who can turn the tide? G.I. Joe, American hero. Yo, G.I. Joe. Fighting for freedom wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air. G.I. Joe is there. Can the world oppose the deadliest of foes? Cobra. Joe's will risk it all to end the evil call of Cobra. They never give up, they never say die. Walking tall with banners high, they sound the battle cry. G.I. Joe there, G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there, fighting for freedom wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
Fighting for freedom wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air. Retreat, retreat. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there, G.I. Joe.
power greater than any on Earth. Yet our conquests are stripped from us on every front. Our most dangerous enemy is not G.I. Joe, but your collective incompetence.
Hogwash!
What? You dare say?
The fault, most Imperial Serpentor, lies not within us, but within you! Your leadership has been pompous, pusillanimous, and pathetic! What did he say? He's combating.
That's treason.
I don't believe it.
Yes, leadership is at the very heart of this matter, but it is not mine that is inadequate, Cobra Commander. It is yours. Your ego-driven stupidity has converted victory to catastrophe for the last time.
Go ahead. Make me the scapegoat. My loyal subordinates could testify to my superb stewardship of Cobra, but you don't have the courage to let them speak.
Wrong again. Defend him if you can.
Indeed they shall. You first, noble Destro.
Militarily speaking, it's only fair to say that Cobra Commander is a world-class buffoon.
What? Baroness, Dr. Mindbender, brave Zavon Tomax. You won't let Destro's treacherous assassination of my character go unchallenged, will you?
Certainly not. Destro forgot to mention your frequent displays of cowardice.
Countermanded my order.
Your meddling brought us defeat again and again and again.
You're not just a fool, you're Cobra's cur. Inept, insufficient, inexcusable,
unsubstantiated fantasy. Lies, lies,
Intruder alert! Sector 45A, battle station!
This may be an assassination attempt. Serpentor must stay here. We will intercept the intruder.
I will meet this intruder head on!
No, we must protect you.
Without you, there is no Cobra.
Yes, yes. If something happened to Serpentor, it would be tragic, wouldn't it? We shall stop this assassin. Come, follow me. Cobra!
Intruder approaching Serpentor's war room. Seal all sectors. my command.
That won't be necessary.
I have seen you before. In a dream. A vision.
In a memory, great Serpentor. I am part of your destiny. When you were created, my face was etched into your soul. I am Pythona, and now it is time for you to fulfill your destiny. Behold, the broadcast energy transmitter.
So I say to the guy, I don't care if we have to drive all night. We're going to be there by morning. That's funny.
A catchy tune, isn't it, guys? One more time!
They can't hear you, mainframe.
Well, dial tone, they're going to hear about the broadcast energy transmitter all over the world. Pure energy pumped through the air.
Yeah, unlimited power anywhere, anytime we want.
If it works.
The BET will work perfectly, Duke. I can practically feel its little semiconductors singing under my fingertips. Hey, be careful.
Well, let's find out if we've wasted $1 billion taxpayer dollars.
Here we go. If this thing works, it could be the key to the world's energy crisis.
It's working!
All right!
Hey! The BET started Cross Country's Havoc.
I'll shut down and see if it stops.
Hey, you stop! Stop!
Destroy everything except the broadcast energy transmitter! This I command!
Snow job, need a lift?
Maybe walking's better for my health.
Since when are you the nervous type? Yo, Joe!
They're after the BET. Fall back and regroup for counterattack.
Press forward! I must possess the broadcast energy transmitter! This I command!
This operation is costing us dearly. I hope your contraption is worth it.
That is not your concern! Do as you're told like an obedient lackey!
Cover me. The BETs are only shot.
Dreadnoughts! Cut
no order, Baroness.
Farewell, worm.
Serpentor has heard that we must save him, Cobra!
No, retreat! Cobra, retreat!
What coward called retreat? Serpentor needs us. We can...
We have a counterattack to deal with. Retreat to the mountains! I know where we can find sanctuary.
Cobra's through. What do we do?
I hate it, but we gotta split the force. Roadblock, form a unit to run down Cobra. The rest of us will take care of Serpentor and the BET.
You heard the man. Let's wreck us some reptile. This is madness. Our men are half frozen. You'll kill us all.
Head for the pass up ahead. We'll find sanctuary on the other side.
There they are. Lost. The trolls have caught up. Aye, we didn't sign off for nothing, Fido.
Oh, right, me eyes are playing tricks. Hey, Governor, what's this all mean?
We are safe. Take refuge in the grove.
What is this, the Twilight Zone?
Forget the redwood toadstools. It's battle time. Go, go.
Roadblock!
Gotcha now, you slippery creep.
Bravo, bravo, dear friends.
He knows these people?
You are as impressive as ever. You struck me. Columulus will have your head for this.
It is not his head you should be worrying about, Cobra Commander. You will all come with me now. Nemesis Enforcer, fetch Cobra Commander.
Release me! I order you to let me go!
Where are you taking the others?
You will find out soon enough, Dreadnought Ripper.
You know us?
We know everything. We know that Serpentor has been captured by G.I. Joe, and you must rescue him.
Right, the Joes? Are you balmy? We don't know who you are, where you come from, or even what side you're on. Why should we risk our necks on your behalf?
Does this answer your question?
A gem of that size answers all my questions. 24 hours and zip from Roadblock and his unit.
They're smart and tough. No reason to write them off yet.
Agreed, but who's going to take their place if Cobra hits us now? We've got the BET and Serpentor, General Hawk. The Fang Gang's bound to take a whack at them.
And we'll need all the Joes we can get to whack back. What if I lead a search party after Roadblock's unit? Okay. Find him and bring him back. I'll have the BET transferred to a maximum security station while you're away.
Yo, Joe!
Sir, I've already ordered Beachhead to fast forward the training of our new recruits. The sooner they graduate, the sooner they can fight.
That's easier said than done. First, they've got to survive Beachhead.
And I want a stone cold righteous attention. Your chin is down. Your chest out. Your gut in. Your face mean. Cause you are rough, tough, fighting machines. Thank you. It's a real pleasure to see that one of you is a real trooper.
What's the matter, man? Let's look sharp, eh, compadres? Better, sweetheart?
Don't you call me sweetheart. You 6 rawhides, you're gonna learn soldiering. And hey, there's only 5 of you. Where is that gold-plated goof-off, Lieutenant Falcon?
Terrific question.
Man said he had some errands to do. Go to the Taylor Wallpaper's Foot Locker. Weird stuff.
I think he had a date or something.
What is that? Now, I'm gonna see what you rawhides are really made of. You 2 rawhides will love this little training exercise. All you gotta do is get from here to there and ring that bell. But watch out for surprises.
Big deal. I got kicked out of kindergartens with tougher playgrounds than this.
Cut to macho, tunnel rat. Now do it!
All right.
Big Lob makes his move. Big Lob goes for the goal. Whoa! He cuts cross court, sidestepping the opposition. He executes a perfect 10 dive. The goal line is in sight. Great speed near the end zone. Takes out the defense and lays down the long bomb. It's looking good. Rim shot. Will it drop in? Yes! Big Loud scores. And the crowd goes bananas.
The crowd ain't the only thing that's going bananas. Front and center, law! Somewhere in this village is a time bomb set to go off in 5 minutes. Find it and dispose of it.
No problem, Beachhead.
What's that bow wow doing here?
That's my dog, Order. He's trained to sniff out explosives. Order, seek.
This is supposed to be your test, Law.
Hey, Law and Order's a team, man. He finds the bombs, I drive the car. We tried the other way, but it didn't work.
Come here, boy! But he's bringing the bomb back. Get out of here! Give me that. Let go, you dumb dog!
Order, give it to me. Good fella.
Get rid of that thing!
We thought you were playing, Beachhead. He's usually quite obedient.
I hope you both get fleas. All right, Chuckles, the object of this exercise is simple. Draw a bead on that hiss and blow it to Kingdom Come. Chuckles, wake up! You gotta get it before it gets you! Hey, you rat! What are you doing?
Next time, Chuckles, use the rocket launcher. James, why aren't you dueling Lieutenant Falcon?
He didn't show. Guess he was too chicken to take me on.
Either that or he heard you're one bad luck lady.
Who says so?
Everybody, the word is when you're around, things go wrong.
Yeah, well, they usually turn out right in the end.
What in blue blazes are you doing?
Sparring. Any problem with that?
Yeah, your eyes. Keep them open.
But
Mouth closed, eyes open.
Yes, sir.
And don't call me sir. Pathetic. Don't bother to unpack. You ain't staying here long.
Care to try it again? My way, as my blind ninja master used to say. The keenest eye is that which looks inward. See what I mean?
Are you sure it's safe? Why, just thinking about Serpentor being locked up in here gives me goosebumps all over my body.
Don't worry about it, Heather. When you're lucky enough to have Lieutenant Falcon for a guide, you have nothing to fear but Falcon himself.
Don't try spooking me, Falcon. I'm scared enough as it is.
Come on, you can relax with me. Now, you see those tech manuals over there? Now, just suppose they were Cobra creeps. Look out!
Do it again, Falcon, please.
Watch this. Over my shoulder. Duke, what are you doing here?
My duty, which is more than you seem able to do. Didn't it occur to you that a military prison is no place for a date?
I thought you said you were in charge.
A camera? You let her bring a camera in here? I'm taking that film.
I didn't know.
Mellow out. She didn't take any pictures.
Film and visitors are forbidden here, Lieutenant Falcon. You're supposed to be aware of those regulations.
I'll take the lady elsewhere, sir. Come on, babe. This is starting to get boring.
I'll show you boring, mister. Jinx, escort this young lady off the base on the double.
Right, Duke. Let's go, Goldilocks.
I had a wonderful time, Falcon. Oh, that Falcon is such a hunk. I'm talking major league gorgeous. But I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, am I?
As a matter of fact, I did have kind of a date with Falcon. But I doubt he's going to have much time for socializing with either of us from here on. Now make like an amoeba and split.
You're dangerously close to insubordination, mister.
And you're over the line on military protocol. I'm an officer and I'm pulling rank.
Hold it right there. The only thing you're pulling is guard duty until I say otherwise.
Taking a dip, love.
Serrano, I didn't know it was you. Neatly done, sister. I trust your mission was equally well executed.
Duke took the film in my camera, but not in my earrings. We'll soon know everything we need to